Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I'm going to share with you my mini bookshelf tour, and I hope you enjoy, so stay tuned. Hello and hi. So let's just okay, so I don't know if you can see or not, but I have some books on my table right here, and these are the three very small bookshelves that got installed just today. So I'm really excited about showing you all of my books that I've been reading and loving recently, and the books that I've bought recently but haven't gotten a chance to read yet. So I hope that you enjoy them and you enjoy listening to me talking about them as much as I love talking about them and reading them. So let's just first talk about the book that I'm currently reading now. I'm currently reading The Catcher in the Rye, a novel by J.D. Salinger. I'm very much enjoying this book. I am at page 132 and chapter 16. I've finished chapter 16. It's a really good book. I have not finished reading it, so I don't know if my opinion will change or not, but I can see how many people like it very much. So thank you for Caroline, Marie and Emmy for doing their book club and sparking my interest on this book and this author J.D. Salinger. So let's just get that out of the way and decorate my bookshelves. The first book, The Picture of Dorian Gray, by Oscar Wilde. This is like the all-time favorite classics of literally everyone. I have not read it yet. I have started reading it like a few months ago, and I've gotten to page 36. Not very much, and I have even forgotten what it was about. Well, I know what it is about, but I have forgotten what I have read. So I probably would start from the beginning again. I'm really excited about reading it, but I have not gotten time to read it. So let's just put it here. The red books, the books that I have read already, are going to be going on this upper shelf because I wouldn't be, they will just be there for display, and the newer books which I have not read yet will be on this shelf, and so that I can just pick one and read. So let's take one from this pile, and it is a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, and I've finished reading it. In the last vlog I got this book and I finished it in one day. It is quite a short book, so did not take much time to finish it, but this is a really good series, and a kid would love this series very much. It is not quite like Harry Potter, but it is really good, and I think I like Lemony Snicket's writing, that is Daniel Handler's writing, and I think I would continue reading this series and finish this series this year, if not next year. So I'm really excited about this. So let's put it here because I've already finished it. Don't fall. It's my book light. This comes in very handy when it's winter and you're under the blankets and you just want to wrap up under the blanket and still read a book under the blanket. And you can just turn it up and read. You can't see, just turn on. It is quite good. This is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I talked about it in the last video, my thoughts on it. Sorry. So I wouldn't talk much about it on this video. If you like, I can put the link of the last video and you can watch it. This will go on the top shelf as well. Next book is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I don't have a Spanish accent. He is Spanish, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was born in Aracataca, Colombia. I don't have a Colombian accent. I don't know what accent it is, but Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude. This is actually Emmy's favorite book of all times. So I thought I would buy it from the book fair. I bought it from the book fair this year and Kolkata book fair this year, and I still haven't read it, but I would love to read it. Maybe this will be the next book I read, I don't know, but maybe. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is the oldest book on my bookshelf, probably. Excuse that. Excuse me, books. Stay. Next book is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte and sorry. So this is also a classic, and I think a lot of people like and love this book. Again. So, Wuthering Heights. I was talking about Wuthering Heights before the book flew from the bookshelf. So, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte is one of the favorite classics of a lot of people, as I just mentioned. So, I think people love the movie, people love the book. So, I probably would read this book when Halloween comes because it has like a spooky kind of feel to it. So, and I think Emma and Caroline's book. I think Emma and Caroline's book club also have this book at some month or the other near Halloween, I think. So I will probably be reading it with them, or if not, I'll probably read it before them. I don't know. Maybe before them or with them. So. Please stay. The next book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Undoubtedly her most famous classic, and rightfully so. I really love this. So if you don't know what Pride and Prejudice is about, which I doubt, I think everyone knows what Pride and Prejudice is about, but if you don't, I'll read you the back of the book. When Elizabeth Bennet meets Fitzwilliam Darcy for the first time at a ball, she writes him off as an arrogant and obnoxious man. He not only acts like an insufferable snob, but she also overhears him rejecting the very idea of asking her for a dance. As life pits them against each other again and again, Darcy begins to fall for Elizabeth's wit and intelligence, and Elizabeth begins to question her feelings about Darcy. But when Darcy saves her youngest sister Lydia from a scandal, Elizabeth starts to wonder if her pride has prejudiced her opinion of Darcy. Through this tale about two warring hearts, Jane Austen weaves a witty satire about life in 18th century England. And though it was published more than 2 centuries ago, Pride and Prejudice continues to enthrall readers to this very day. Britain's favorite book, The Garden says, and I love the descriptions in this book and everything about this book, to be honest, so read it. Next book is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So I'll probably read this in Christmas, on Christmas or around Christmas time. This is a very short book as well, 94 pages. I really don't know what A Christmas Carol is about, so let's find out together, shall we? But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. The character of Ebenezer Scrooge has become an archetype for the merciless miser. He was a man quite content with utter disregard for the welfare of those around him. A smile, a warm greeting, or a kind word were all incomprehensible to old Scrooge. A Christmas Carol is a parable, a tale of a journey towards transformation, a reformation of beliefs, and long practiced ways of viewing the world and all within it. This timeless classic is also a story of miracles and magic, a homage to the human spirit. This is quite a list of things that they need to cover in this book, that Charles Dickens needs to cover in this book, and I'm sure he does a pretty well job. I'm sure he does because he's Charles Dickens. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to read this. So I probably would read this in winter time and on or before Christmas. The next is Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell. I'm really excited about reading Hamlet by William Shakespeare. I have always been intimidated by William Shakespeare and his writing, and I'm really scared to read Hamlet by William Shakespeare, but I probably will read it someday. And if your favorite writer is William Shakespeare, please write some very good things about him in the comment section, so I will be encouraged to read more William Shakespeare. I've not read any William Shakespeare except something in high school maybe. I've read probably As You Like It, Othello. I think I've read a couple of his works, a few of his works in high school, but I think I would love to read as an adult and I would get more from it. So please comment down your suggestions about me reading William Shakespeare and just very nice things about William Shakespeare. That's out of the point. This is Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell, and this is quite the book, and I loved this book very much. I got teary-eyed reading it, and this book is really awesome. On a summer's day in 1596, a young girl in Stratford-upon-Avon takes to her bed with a sudden fever. Her twin brother Hamlet searches everywhere for help. Why is nobody at home? Their mother Agnes is over a mile away in the garden where she grows medicinal herbs. Their father is working in London. Neither parent knows that Hamlet will not survive the week. Hamlet is a novel inspired by the son of a famous playwright, a boy whose life has been all but forgotten, but whose name was given to one of the most celebrated plays ever written. I will not read you anything from inside the book, but this book is very, very dear to me. And I think you should read it. And this book also won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2020. And that just says that Maggie O'Farrell is a brilliant writer, and I hope to read more from her in the future, but you'll see. A Man Called Oak by Frederick Buckman. I think Frederick Buckman is my new favorite writer, and I think Frederick Buckman does an awesome job of portraying human emotions and talking about things in a certain way which is witty and funny and adorable at times and very sentimental. I've got teary-eyed a lot, more than Hamlet. Hamlet is a sad story. I don't think Hamlet is a sad story in general, but this is not a sad story as Hamlet, but this is quite emotional, and it made me very, very emotional reading it, and I think you should read it. This book, I loved this book. This is the book what I don't think everyone will like, but the people who will like it, they will love it, and the people who won't, it's a hit or miss situation. So maybe I will just read you the blurb and you can decide whether you would want to pick this book up or not. But this is a personal favorite of mine. Maybe like one of my favorite books of all times. So is Hamlet, by the way. But this is A Man Called Ove. Ove is almost certainly the grumpiest man you will ever meet. He thinks himself surrounded by idiots, joggers, neighbors who can't reverse a trailer properly, and shop assistants who talk in code. But isn't it rare these days to find such old-fashioned clarity of belief and deed, such unswerving conviction about what the world should be, and a lifelong dedication to making it just so? In the end, you will see there is something about Ove that is quite irresistible. I think I'm personally connected more to this book because this book is set in Sweden and the author is Swedish, and I feel like I have a connection to Sweden and the Northern Lights since I was very, very young, and as I grew up, I found out that my name has both a Sanskrit and a Swedish origin, unknowingly. I didn't know that before, but my name has a Swedish origin and it is a Swedish name. I don't know if anyone from Sweden has my name, but apparently it is a Swedish origin name and a Swedish name. So that's not why I was connected with this book. I feel like Sweden just have it, and I think it is a coincidence that my name also has two different origins, and that's quite ironic. But this book is like very, very dear and near to me, so please read it. The next book is quite silly. This is The Keeper of the Lost Cities. Where is the Harry Potter book? I thought I would read. I have not read the Harry Potter series when I was younger. I have not even seen the movies when I was younger. I first watched this movie, the 8 movies of Harry Potter movies, after finishing this book, the first one. So I have not read the Harry Potter series when I was younger, neither have I watched the movies, the 8 movies. I've watched the 8 movies this year in January after my semester, during my semester break, and I loved those movies, but I only read the first book. I read the first book and then I thought I would watch the first movie. And I watched the first movie and I loved it, and I thought that I think if I picked these books up when I was younger, I would have enjoyed them very, very much. But as I am very, I don't want to say old. I think you are never too old to read children's books. I adore children's books, but I don't think I would enjoy these books as much now. But so I'm not going to continue reading the series, but I'm sure I would enjoy them still very, very much. So this is also like, I don't know, Harry Potter everyone knows and loves, so I don't think I should say more about it. And I thought I would read like all of the children's series, like Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I think this will be the same case as Harry Potter. I would probably read the first book and I would not continue reading the rest of them, because as I said, I would probably enjoy them if I was quite young when I started reading them. So I have not read this. I have read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but I have not read Keeper of the Lost Cities. This will probably be the last book I pick up from my bookshelf to read. Mark my words, this will be the last book I pick up. Maybe I will even finish A Christmas Carol before I pick this book up. But let's see. Maybe I will read the Christmas Carol now and also when Christmas comes. I don't know. Maybe. The rest of the books that I have, I've already finished reading them. So let's just get through them. The next one is Emma by Jane Austen. I loved this book. I think Emma is better written than Pride and Prejudice. I think this was her second to last novel that she wrote, and I loved it. I loved it very much, and you can see that this book's writing is better, much, much better than Pride and Prejudice, where Pride and Prejudice will always have that kind of enemies to lovers trope, and people just eat that up like crazy, and teenagers especially eat that up like crazy, and I don't blame them for that. But Emma, I think, explores society and other things very, very. I think Pride and Prejudice always will be like the favorite kind of books for people who love like the enemies to lovers trope, and teenagers especially, they eat that thing up like nothing else in the world. And there are like many books going around on the internet which have like similar tropes, and people would read books according to their tropes, which I don't necessarily do. So I don't know what the appeal is in that, and there are not really enemies in this book, but in Pride and Prejudice. But I think Emma deals with quite a lot of good things and better things than Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice I thought was quite complex, but Emma I think was quite funny and witty, and I think Mr. Knightley's character is like one of my favorite characters of all times, and I think my favorite character from Emma is Mr. Knightley, not Emma. And you know, I will read some lines from this book. I think I have annotated, not annotated, like highlighted some of the lines. So I will happily read you some of the lines from the book to convince you to read this book. As a friend, repeated Mr. Knightley. Emma, that I fear is a word. No, I have no wish. Stay. Yes. Why should I hesitate? I have gone too far already for concealment, Emma. I accept your offer, extraordinary as it may seem. I accept it and refer myself to you as a friend. Tell me then, have I no chance of ever succeeding? He stopped in his earnestness to look the question, and the expression of his eyes overpowered her. My dearest Emma, said he, for dearest you will always be. Whatever the event of this hour's conversation, my dearest, most beloved Emma, tell me at once. Say no if it is to be said. She could really say nothing. You are silent, he cried, with great animation. Absolutely silent. At present I ask no more. I cannot make speeches, Emma, he soon resumed, in a tone of such sincere, decided, intelligible tenderness as was tolerably convincing. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. This line nearly about killed me with, I should not say the word killed me in that sense, but after I read this line, I was like, what? And just put the book down and was like, what did he just say? If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. What a proposal. This is the best proposal in this history of books, probably. Even though I have not read many books, I don't think any proposal would ever top this proposal. God knows I have been a very indifferent lover, but you understand me. Yes, you see, you understand my feelings and will return them if you can. At present, I ask only to hear, once to hear your voice. And this line is like this was a really good line as well. He had ridden home through the rain and had walked up directly after dinner to see how this sweetest and best of all creatures, faultless in spite of all her faults, bore the discovery. Sweet creature by Harry Styles. That's what I can say about this. Sweetest and best of all creatures. It is one of my favorite books. One of my favorite songs. The next is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is also one of those books which is like very, very popular and also rightfully so. This book has like some crazy plot, and it is like I went into this book thinking that this is a normal book. Oh, just I'm reading a very normal book, and as it got to the end of the book, everything changed, and my expectations of this book was completely wrong. And this book is like very, very good. Of course, one of the greatest American novels of the 20th century. This is read it. I think everyone has read this book. This is also quite a short book. So I remember I had picked this book up last year and have read some of it on the train, some of it in Kolkata, some of it here, some of it again in Kolkata. So this book has traveled through me, with me, and in the rain. I remember it was raining and I was on the train and raindrops came from the window of the train, and soaked my book. So this book has gone through some things in its lifetime, but I think it holds to the memory for only that purpose. So books hold so much memory, and I feel like that is the most sentimental thing about books and reading books, and you just transport back to the time when you were reading the book and the experiences that you went through while reading the book. So I think that is like one of the perspectives of reading more, and I cannot wait to read more this year. And I have not read like English novels for a really long time after I passed out from high school. So I'm really excited to rekindle my love for reading again, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job from this month. So it's never too late to start. Half of the year has already gone, but I still am determined to make the rest of the year very, very good year for me for reading. So stay. Call Me By Your Name by Andre Achiman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You're right, I have seen the film first. I am not one of those person who read the book first. I'm sad to say that. Whenever a movie comes out, I'm pretty sure to read the book before I watch the movie. But for this, I did not know. Going in to watch Call Me By Your Name, I did not know that it already had a book. If I hadn't known that it already had a book, I probably would read the book first. But I watched the film first, and it was wonderful. I loved Italy. I loved the portrait of Italy in the film, and I think now I've fallen in love with Italy, and a part of my brain fantasizes about like being in Italy and running around in Italy and walking around Italy, like drinking coffee and eating delicious Italian food, and maybe falling in love. So I think and also I've things that I've fallen in love with this book and the film. I watched the film, fell in love with the film, fell in love with Timothée Chalamet. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but Timothée Chalamet, maybe. He is awesome. I fell in love with him as well, and I fell in love with the book when I read the book. And his writing is very, very poetic. Andre Achiman's writing is very, very poetic. It reads like poetry, it feels like poetry, it feels like reading and longing for what you do not have, and longing for that want, and longing for something that is about to come, and longing for the future, and being bittersweet about the past, and memories we make, and memories we will continue to make. And I think that it is very, very, it is extraordinary. I think this book is like one of those books which is very extraordinary in its sense. So not a lot of people will like this book, I'm sure, but I think the people who have watched the movie, they all have loved the movie, and I think this is so it speaks for itself. The film, I think the director of the film won the Oscar, so it just speaks for itself. Even if you do not like it, the director of the film won the Oscar, and you know what? I'll take the Oscar over anyone's opinion. So read it if you like, don't read it if you don't, and let's move on. let's move on to the next book. Next and the final book. And the only non-fiction book on my shelf, and that is My India, Ideas for the Future by APJ Abdul Kalam. So, I will read you the blurb. If you're not Indian, you would not be familiar with APJ Abdul Kalam, maybe you are. Wisdom and inspiration from India's best beloved president. My India, Ideas for the Future is a collection of excerpts from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's speeches in his post-presidency years, drawn from Dr. Kalam's addresses to parliaments, universities, schools, and other institutions in India and abroad. They include his ideas on science, nation building, poverty, compassion, and self-confidence. Dr. Kalam draws on the lives of stalwarts such as Marie Curie and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai to encourage and inspire his young readers. Through these speeches, he shares many valuable lessons in humility, resilience, and determination, and leads children to think, grow, and evolve. A project very close to his heart, Dr. Kalam's last book for children, is a roadmap for every child to pursue their dreams, to be the best they can be, leading to the realization of a better India. This was a gift from my cousin, who I call Dada Bhai, and it was gifted to me in 2017, so it was my 16th birthday. So I'm very glad they gifted this book to me, and I have so many gifted books in my old house, and they're countless. And I've read some of them, I've not read some of them. So if I go to the old house, I will show you all my books and maybe pick some of the books from there and read them or reread them. But I'm not currently going out of the house at all. So when I do go out of the house, I will probably bring the camera with me and film there as well. So my childhood home, as it said, it is quite near from here. So it's not, you can walk there, but I'm not really going out much. So let's come back to the book. I think everyone should read it, if you're Indian or not. I think you should read this book very, very much. The only non-fiction on the shelf. I think I should read more non-fiction, but I love fiction, so I will not force myself to read non-fiction. If I like a book of non-fiction that I think is interesting to me, I will probably buy it and read it, but I will not force myself to read something. I will probably read what I love to read mostly. So the bookshelf is not quite full at all, so I've not read 5 of the books on my shelf, so I would finish reading these 5 books and then I will buy some new books and probably do a huge haul of like 10 books. I don't know how many books I will buy next time, but after I've finished reading these, I will probably be busy with exams for a while. MTA will be coming up, I think, before Puja, so I think I will be concentrated on that. So I don't know when I will buy my next batch of books, but I'm hoping soon. I'm really excited about reading new authors and reading more from Frederick Bachman and Jane Austen. I think these are the 2 authors I'm most excited to read more from, and to continue the series of unfortunate events. So these are the 3 things on my shelf that I'm ready to explore more about, and otherwise I would love to buy new authors and new books. So I will continue my search on BookTube for like their favorite books of all times and think for myself which books I'm going to love and I'm going to love. So I'm probably just going to read The Catcher in the Rye now, or just take some rest. And I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next one next week around this time. So please stay tuned for the next week's video as well. Goodbye. Goodbye.